Thank you, sir.
Joining us now to review some of the headlines of today's newspapers from around the world is Arise News analyst Emmanuel Efene, the great Malabite. Good morning, Emmanuel.
Good morning, Ruben.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr.
Also
Efene.
a great Malabite.
Morning.
Good morning, Ayo.
I'm admiring your tie and pocket square. I have to
Thank
say
you, Ayo. Good morning, Rufai.
Morning, sir. Make
Yes,
sir.
we'll start the review with this day Nigeria's newspaper of record. I'll just start with the Niger story. Niger junta will prosecute Bozum for high treason, alleges exchanges with foreign leaders, others, is a provocative step to take, ECOWAS wants. Well, the military junta in Niger seem to be raising the stakes by saying they will prosecute Bozum for high treason. What an irony. Alleges exchanges with foreign leaders and other groups. But I see this as just a way of raising the stakes in the event of the dialogue and negotiation. Okay, we will not prosecute him. That's one point we have considered. That's where they seem to be going. But the U.S. is urging ECOWAS leaders not to remove their foot from the pedal, but continue to put pressure on these coupists so that they will do the needful. But we'll see how that pans out in the days ahead. Now, the lead story. FX arbitrage widens to 206 naira to the dollar, enabling round-tripping. CBN vows to crack down. I&E window, 744 naira to the dollar. Parallel market, 950 naira to the dollar. Shonubi says, Tinubu, very concerned about naira slide. Reveals intervention measures ready in a matter of days. Report, dollar supply remains a major challenge in FX market. Yes, the decision to harmonize. Was it indeed just a decision to devalue the naira, yes, but couched in that sweet-sounding word, harmonization of the market? Because even before the market could find its level, recall then, the minister-designate and advisor to the president on fiscal policies, Wale Edun, saying that there is a fair value for the naira, and he put that fair value at 700 naira to the dollar. Well, but somehow, we must also say that the government must have benefited from this, because with the exchange rate at where it is now, 744 naira to the dollar, more naira into the coffers of government, more naira to share among the three tiers of government, but that certainly is not the problem now. The problem is that effectively a dual exchange rate is now in place. Now, the measures to deal with these speculators, yes, in the days of Emefiele, the suspended CBN governor, it was Aboki that was the headache. Some guys sitting down there in London and pressing their keyboard every morning in the name of Aboki FX. Now, the speculators, what the acting CBN governor Folashodun Shonubi be dealing with. They should wait for it. He said that the measures they are putting in place, still top secrets perhaps, will undercut many of those who are profiting from this arbitrage through round-tripping and hoarding of the foreign exchange, the dollar. But certainly not enough dollar to meet all the supplies, all the legitimate supplies. So in a situation like that, what will happen? The CBN cannot meet all the demands. People will look for their dollar elsewhere. Where to go? The parallel market. Of course, don't rule out round-tripping because of the wide margin. The arbitrage will continue to widen. But we'll see how the acting CBN governor and our President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, will solve this problem. Well, seem to be fitting into the bill of what Pastor Bakare described as impulsive leadership. Take the decision and let them walk to the answer, as it were. Now, the Punch newspaper also reporting this story. Naira slump, CBN clamps down on speculators, restricts diaspora remittances. Acting CBN meets Tinubu, predicts heavy losses for forex speculators. They don't really care, those speculators. They'll keep their dollars as long as it takes and wait for the Naira to crash once more. Federal government records zero oil earnings in 7 months. Naira crisis may worsen. The Guardian newspaper. This story, Tinubu's reforms face stress test amid labor threats, FS scarcity. Yes, fuel 617 naira to the liter, set to rise further as naira weakens, because you import all your petroleum products right now. A country that, an oil-producing country that does that, of course, will suffer from this kind of situation. How can a country so blessed, 4 refineries non-producing, and we are importing, and you want your naira to be strong? Now, the other story there, in the front page of The Guardian, palliatives, government silent 4 days to 8-week deadline for talks. Well, so much to do for our president. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, perhaps the ministers should come on board quickly so that everything does not revolve around the president and few advisors, many of whom are from Lagos anyway. Now, the Nation newspaper, of course, the lead story, forex crisis, CBN likely to flood market with dollar. Where's that dollar coming from? Do they have enough to continue to sustain that, the defending of the naira? Because that's what it's just coming down to. Flood the market with dollar, defend the naira, although they've not used the word defend. Now, above the masthead there, NEMA warns of flooding in Lagos, Ogun, Ondo, 16 others. Of course, you add Delta, Ondo, Sokoto to that list of states that will suffer from flooding this year. So there's a warning from NEMA. The states must put in place measures to help their citizens. Now, the Vanguard newspaper, its economic shutdown if petrol price rises again. Labour threatening, accuses IGP, Justice Ministry of hijacking duties of Labour Ministry. Demands apology from IGP for arresting National Union of Road Transport Workers boss. Says Labour Ministry may go extinct if Tinubu is concerned about economic hardships. Presidency telling Nigerians. Marketers urge federal government to tackle forex challenge. Say pump price may rise next week. And of course, the New Telegraph newspaper also has that story on its front page. Impending fuel pump price hike, NLC vows to embark on strike without notice if, of course, the if there, if petroleum, the pump price goes up again. Now, below the photograph, in front page of the New Telegraph, banditry, major, captain, 10 soldiers, many vigilantes killed in Niger State. Yes, so Niger State. 30 bandits eliminated. NAF, that's Nigerian Air Force chopper on casualty evacuation mission crashes. Deploy your entire military arsenal to secure Niger. Sani Musa tells federal government. Yes, insecurity still very much in the land, and this is Niger State. And of course, the crash of that helicopter, the Daily Sun also reporting that crash. Military jet on rescue mission crashes, flying to Niger State to evacuate soldiers killed, injured by terrorists. What a bad one. That's a very sad one.
Commiserations.
Yes. And of course, the Daily Trust also reporting that story. Bandits kill many soldiers in Niger. Pilot dies as NAF helicopter crashes. Military mom on attack on personnel. Senator urges deployment of operatives to troubled communities.
In all of this, let me just quickly correct something. In all of this,
yes,
somebody was speaking for the government yesterday and said that if we refine locally, that it will not marginally change the price of petrol. please, let's stop making arguments like that. We need a lot of local refineries. Somebody should also tell him that there's something called DCA that was started in the 90s, which is about domestic crude allocation, pegged with the output, with the needed quantity for the 4 refineries then of 445,000 barrels per day. That's to buffer energy security locally. Somebody should remind him, because it is part of that deal that the NNPC now sells in crude swap, that 445,000 barrels per day. So if you produce locally, it will marginally reduce your costs, because over 40% of our costs, over 40% of our FX demand goes to petroleum products. So if you remove that, then your cost marginally reduces.
There will be less pressure on the
a
foreign
government
exchange
official
market.
should not be coming out to say what he said yesterday. That there's not going to be marginal difference if we produce locally and the refineries are working locally. No, it's not true.
Ruben, you wanted to say something before we round up.
No, I just wanted to say it's about time. But NRC is saying, look, if there's any attempt to increase fuel pricing again, they will not even give any notice before they will call out the troops to go on strike. You recall that they had objected by August 14 to, the Ministry of Justice taking them to court under any guise whatsoever. They say they don't want the industrial court taking them to any court. And they had given a deadline previously also of August 19 for the Tinubu government to make sure that all the promises about palliatives, about
to roll out the palliatives,
will be met. And they complain specifically that it looks like the office of the chief of staff to the president is too busy to call a meeting. So we are not out of the woods yet with the protest, because nobody is saying anything. And NLC now, at a major meeting yesterday, through Joe Ajero, its president, is saying we could just wake up one morning and the country will be shut down. Well, I don't envy President Tinubu.
No, don't pity him. He said, don't pity me. I asked for the job. Don't pity him, Ruben. Please, don't pity him. He said we shouldn't pity him.
But
he asked for the job.
But he has to deliver.
Yes.
We must see motion and movement, not motion without movement. Anyway, thank you very much, Emmanuel Ufeni.